Imagine a league built by the people, for the people. A league dedicated to the economic development of your city. So the question becomes, how good are the 32 teams that play in the minor football league? Well, there's only one way to find out. You have to experience the MFL.
Welcome to another edition of Inside the MFL. I'm your host, Richard Myles Sr., CEO, Chairman, and founder of the Minor Football League. It's raining outside, wherever you guys at. I want y'all to know that make sure you guys keep your face masks on because this epidemic is for real. COVID is for real. COVID-19 is for real. And I just want to make sure that the MFL Nation, everybody take precautions and do what we're supposed to be doing and don't get caught up in that. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't say this on my platform. I want to give out our condolences for Senator John Lewis that passed over the weekend, a pioneer in, I think that he's a real pioneer in civil rights. So like I say, I had to just say that he, I just want everybody to know that, he was a true pioneer. Also, I would be remiss. I want to make sure our GMs and our coaches and our front office people take precaution because of this COVID-19 is real. I had some of the GMs today on the show. Elliot is with us. I know he's happy about we cleaned up the logos and everything. I know he's excited. He wanted to, Mr. Myles, what do you think about this logo? No, we gonna keep the logo we got. I think he like it. Also, we definitely have our guru, our money man, we definitely have Robert Gatewood here from the marketing Pulpit. How you doing, Robert?
Hey, Myles, doing great. How you doing there? How you doing, Elliot?
All right.
Hey, Robert.
Yeah, but we got to get Elliot because he was a little, his idea of the logo that he presented, and with the MFL, the laboratory chain, we entertained it and everything, but I think he's real satisfied with us cleaning up the Steelers, the Michigan Steelers logo. How you doing there, sir?
Good. How are you doing, Mr. Myles?
All right. I want to make sure it's the family all right. How you guys doing with this COVID-19? Everybody's doing good?
Yep,
great.
Everybody's good out here, all healthy. Going good for us so far.
Okay. And Robert, how's things going with you? I know it's raining a lot here, Robert. How's everything going with you, sir?
It's raining a lot. I want to share your grief, condolences to the family of our fallen leader, Mr. John Lewis, and also I had one of our local heroes, Patrick Ellis, well-known DJ in the DC area, 40 years on WHUR. He succumbed to COVID-19 a couple of days ago on Friday last week, and so we're really mourning his loss over in the Washington, D.C. area. He'd been on that station for 40 years and very well known in the Washington, D.C. area. Because a lot of folks, they talk about the disease in the abstract term. They can't really point out somebody who they actually know. They say, somebody I know that I know that I know that I know.
Right.
Well, this guy was a client of mine for 20 years.
Right.
And we were in the process of we had just released his new website. He had just moved into a brand new studio. And so he was planning for another 20, 30 years of life. And he was stricken. So this is real. This is not a hoax. And so we do know somebody who's been near and dear to us to succumb to this dreaded disease. So prayers out to his family. But thanks again. And thanks for that public service announcement, Myles. We do have to let people know to be vigilant and take precaution. Take care of yourself. The government's not going to do it. church not going to do it. You have to take precaution and protect yourself because you are your best defense.
Absolutely. We have families and loved ones that we do not want them to succumb to this this virus. Tell us what's going on up in Michigan, sir. I know things is kind of shut down up there, and I know it's kind of is spiking there as well. Give us up and down. Give MFL Nation people kind of a synopsis of what's going on up there. We know you're doing a great job, but you can only do so much. But we always like our GMs to check in and keep us abreast of what's going on.
Yeah. So with Michigan, it took us a little bit to open up everything. They kind of opened it up in sections around the state after our governor had shut us down for a couple months. And then not too long after that, I guess we started to go back up again. And so she mandated an all mask order. So everybody in the state's wearing masks now. But it seems to still be spiking again. So I've heard talk of a possible new stay home order, but we'll see where that goes. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to not have come across anybody close to me or my family, friends that has fallen to it or anything like that. I'm in somewhat of a smaller community, not really close to Detroit. So it hasn't gotten that bad up here. I think the majority of it's down there in the suburbs around Detroit. And that's the main reason why the scare from the governor and what she's wanting to do is the way it is right now. Okay, well, that's good. But also, we have been getting some emails about the Steelers being there, and some of your friends know you and everything. They say it's nice to have someone from Michigan, our own, to spearhead the franchise there, which is, you know, the Steelers, the Michigan Steelers, and they was excited about you being heading it up there. So you do have people calling and, you know, saying, hey, you know, we know him, and you know, we glad that we have one of our own, as they say, spearheading this. So you got people aware that you're there and you're doing such a great job. And I know right now things are going to be really slow. But you know the MFL, we behind you. You're going to be fine. So don't worry. The pressure's not on us. The pressure on other people, because we got this. We're smart enough to not try to go 2020. You know what I mean, Robert?
Oh, absolutely. 2020 is pretty much done. We have so many things going on that has pushed this year really off the map. But what it does present itself to Myles and Elliot, that we have opportunity now to prepare, to get ourselves ready and look for 2021. 2021 is probably going to be one of the best years we've ever seen, because we have 2020 to retrospect, to pivot, to reposition, to recalibrate. So there's no excuse for anyone in 2021 not to be ready to come out with all guns blazing. No pun intended.
Absolutely. And so And I know you're limited in what you're doing. We're gonna go into, because the other GMs, you know, down in the South, down the South where we have franchises, you know, they're out there. Even they talking about the high schools of practice. That's dangerous to us. And you know, the GM said, well, you know, Mr. Myles, they gave us the okay. I said that I give the MFL the okay. What your governor say down there don't mean anything for the MFL, because we don't want nobody to get sick. I'm still not very trusting of this in terms of we don't know what this virus is. They definitely don't have a cure for it. And we want to know if you catch it, can you catch it again? So what is the census up there with y'all, Elliot? And I know you're doing a great job. How are things going so far? And I know you got to Ray Charles and feel your way up there because of the fact that it is going up and down up there. So, you know, just give us a little synopsis of how things going with you.
I mean, we're looking real good with the location. We got a venue real excited. I don't want to. I think we should keep it on under wraps for a little bit. I'm real excited about it. I know you're real excited about it.
Right, absolutely.
It'll be real big for the MFL, and to know that they're excited about it as well is the big thing. I mean, it's
Obviously it's up in the air because nobody knows what's going on. I mean, I've tried some other good sized venues. Getting a hold of them is kind of hard, obviously, but
Right.
I mean, once you do, the hard part is, they also don't know what's going on. Even, explaining to them that we're putting things off this year, but we'll be here, for 21. They're just, the commitment isn't there for not knowing what this thing's going to be like next year.
Right.
I mean, we can totally squash it by the winter or next spring, or it could be around for another couple of years and give us that much of a hard time. We just don't know. And those are the issues I'm coming across as far as a venue. But I'm not worried about it. I think by springtime we'll be ready to go. Talking to a couple young guys for coaching positions that are real excited. Got a little bit of experience behind them, and ready to take this thing on as well. So doing a couple things slowly as we can, but yeah, it's definitely not easy.
Oh, absolutely. And we want you to take all the precautions that's necessary, as you know, Robert. But I know you're in good hands up there because the President Bobby Wilson up there with you. I understand y'all had a brief conversation a little bit. So yep. I know y'all haven't got together because of the COVID-19, but you will have an opportunity. Y'all will get together, and I know y'all do some great things up there together. And why we have to be so careful with this, Robert?
Well, we have to be careful because we're seeing right now. This is a time of upheaval, and we have to protect ourselves from the viruses. We have social unrest going on right now. We have an economy that's really on the ropes. I mean, it's like this has been a prize fight, man. They'd have stopped the fight because people are having such a hard time economically. So anybody, whether it's MFL or any type of business or organization, we're facing some unique challenges. And I think what we need to do as a community, we have to pull on each other. We have to work together. We have to get rid of some of the antipathy and animosity between different groups. And collectively, we can actually beat, if not beat, give it a good run for the money, some of these challenges that we're facing as a country right now. But I think when we're fighting each other and not fighting the virus or there's economic challenges, then we weaken ourselves, and it's going to extend the period when we're still under the gun. So what I've been encouraging people to do is to work together, draw on each other, use each other's resources, build relationships, and really to use the example that the MFL is doing, as I see it out in the community, working with different organizations and pulling in young people, putting them to work, giving them opportunities. We just need to magnify that over a larger area and get more companies and organizations involved.
Absolutely. And, it's so important that people understand that it's not worth your life. And I'm going to take a few minutes with the show, and I'm going to ask you guys, our counterparts are trying to start. First of all, is it a good thing or a bad thing, gentlemen? Go ahead, Elliot.
Our counterparts, as far as
the NFL.
Yeah,
we don't like to call we call them our counterparts. You know what I mean?
I'm up in the air with it. I mean, on one side, yeah, we staying safe is obviously number one. But at the same time, I mean, it's all back to the economy and stuff like that. And I feel like there's a way to make it safe, but it also might be too soon. I think the MFL is doing the smart thing just to take this one off, wait out the year, figure things out, and how we can do things safer next year. And I feel like that should be the route that our counterparts are looking to do as well. That's my view on it.
Robert?
Well, Miles, I'm in the business of putting people to work and helping people earn a living and create a livelihood, build legacy, and build economic foundation. So, of course, this puts me in a very precarious position. I can't tell people to go to work and then go out here and walk right into a virus. So what I have to do is I've almost become like a strategist on now how to do it safely, because at some point you do have to go back to work. At some point you do have to you can't be shut down forever. And no matter how bad this virus is going, you can't stay in the house for 5 years and expect to have a country when you come back out. So what we have to do as business leaders, as community leaders, as planners, we have to buckle down, put our heads together, and refashion the normal. I can't imagine how you can play football on Zoom, but I'm sure there's a way that we can be more resourceful than we'll be. That's going to be a very boring game, I'm telling you. But my point is that, and I don't want to. I mean, I'm a.
We asked for your honest opinion, just like I asked Elliot. We just want to. It's just something that we want to touch on for a few minutes.
Look, I just lost one of my friends. 20 years as a client. He was doing what he loved. Now, of course, he was working from home, doing what he did. But what about the folks who can't work from home? What about the people who have to go out here and greet people in the grocery store, at the Walmart, who doing delivery? We have these two societies. We can't just say the people who can afford to stay home, and the ones that can't go to work. So we got to figure out a way so that we can make this more equitable, make it safe, and try to get back to some semblance of normal. I know that's a tough word nowadays. So I'm kind of nuanced. I think that people have to go to work to eat, but at the same time, we can't go out here carelessly and let people take this disease home and kill grandma and grandpa and I mean it's rough wearing a mask, but it's harder wearing a ventilator. So absolutely. I think it just boils down. You got to take care of yourself and start looking at options. And for these big organizations like the NFL and the baseball league and so forth, put some brain power on this thing. Get some smart folks in the room and let's figure out how we can do this thing.
Well, also we have our GM from South Carolina. We got to bring him in, and also we're glad to have you. I don't know what the weather that is down there, but say what's going on down there, Mr. GM?
Hot.
Man, he meant that, Miles.
Yeah.
I don't see how Corona can even last here. It's hot.
Got Corona running out there. Oh man, hot.
When you see squirrels outside with air conditioner coats on, you know it's hot.
Oh yeah, that's hot.
That's pretty hot.
That is hot.
That's pretty hot.
So tell us how things coming along with down there, and also Coach, I don't want you. Mr. Jim, don't show off and show the jersey, because Elliot might get mad. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, Elliot.
You got the uniform down there, the jersey. You got one of them?
I do.
It came down there. So let's make Elliot mad. Can you show it to him again, so he can get mad?
I had to get a shirt and
on, but put the jersey
look
up
at the
there.
trophy case. I don't want nobody else.
See the jersey in the back, y'all. Can you see that, Elliot?
Yeah.
Elliot say, "Well, he won here,
nice.
so he
don't
won
look at
here."
the trophy case, Elliot.
Yeah, he got it over the trophy case. Thanks for picking that up for me, Mr. GM. We want to make sure we get everything, but tell us how everything going. That's a nice stadium so far. You showed us several. So what's the census down there? And also, I know that y'all stadium has been opened up a little bit, because you say they're down there practicing football, the younger kids. What they say, they have to have one coach for every 10 players?
One coach per every 9 players. And we still have to social distance. We have to wipe down any equipment that we use after the kids use it. Coaches got to have on their mask. We're in the mask ordinance, so everybody have to wear masks in every store, wherever you go. It's a little different. I just found out one of my aunts just went on a ventilator 2 nights ago.
Oh, we're sorry to hear that.
Unfortunately, I had a sister-in-law and a brother with corona in Michigan, in Detroit.
Oh, Elliot, what's going on up there?
That was a little while ago. That's when they
said Michigan.
I'm just home, Elliot. I'm from Detroit.
Yeah.
All right.
In Persian.
Could you turn your sound up, audio up a little bit, Mr. GM? Because I can barely hear you. I don't know about everybody else. You can turn the sound up a little bit more.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, can y'all hear him okay?
I hear him.
Okay. So what's the census down there, Mr. Jim? And I realize that you guys are beginning to open up, but we're a little afraid the MFL is not going to do that. But what's the census on what's going on with the with you and what the MFL is doing? And I know we had somewhat of a crawl, and we wanted that way because I'm still not sure about it. Just like I was telling the GM down in Florida that I heard they opening up down there a little bit, but we're not gonna take that chance. So I was telling Paul Knight down there, the GM down there, he told me that y'all opening up things is just a little scary for me.
It's scary for us too. Being a part of the high school, coaching at the high school, they're still fighting when we start. Some say we want to start in the spring. Some say let's go ahead and start with region games and get it out the way and try not to clash everything together. They had a meeting today, so the board's still meeting and they still unsure.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a difficult time for all sports and all high schools, and they're still trying to see how to get kids back in school. So the government, the task force, everybody's still working together to try to make it work for everybody and try not to get any more people sick or get anybody else on ventilators.
You know what the problem is, Miles?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you what exacerbates this problem. The beginning of the school year, and I'm glad the GM down in South Carolina brought this up. The beginning of the school year is not just the time the kids get ready to start learning again. It also marks the beginning of a new season in the economy. That's when people really start to spend money again. And so when you tell people that the school system is closed, you're also telling them to lock their wallets away for another 6 months. Because traditionally, when summer's over, people's all right, back to school shopping. People come off their swimwear. They start buying clothes again. They start doing things, making big spending ticket items again. But the school year is a indicator, beginning and end of that season. So when people are fighting to say start the schools back over, it's not that they're so concerned about the kids. They know the impact it's going to have on the economy because there's some mental phase, there's a physical phase, there's a financial phase that happens to coincide with the school year. That's why it's such a difficult decision, because people know that there's more at stake than just the kids going back to school to get an education.
Well, Elliot, let me get some input from you, being that other than besides being a GM for the MFL, you have your own business, and I know it can be somewhat difficult for you. So that's why I'd like to get a little input from you about this as well.
We're from a business standpoint, we're actually having the hardest time with the mask order. There's two ways to look at it. There's, your governor's telling you to do one thing, which is, it's to be safe. But there's a lot of people out there that can't just wear a mask all day, especially those that are working in those resale, grocery stores and stuff. They just can't wear a mask all day. And to tell your employees or to tell your customers that they have to wear one in order to come into your establishment to shop is the hard part, especially when you can't ask them why they're not wearing it, what their medical condition is, or anything like that. You can, at the end of the day, you can refuse anybody to come through your door. But I think the big issue out here in Michigan, and our governor even extended the order with the masks, being that businesses can no longer assume that you have a medical condition if you're not wearing one. You're supposed to ask now, which is getting even closer to infringing on some HIPAA violations and stuff like that in a business standpoint. So it's a real bad tug of war out here. And as far as our business, that's the biggest thing. I mean, we're doing everything that we can to keep the inside of our store safe, clean, and all that as best we can. But playing that limbo with customers that come in and our employees is been the hardest part. But at the end of the day, we got to just try to keep everything as safe as possible.
Well, you know, that's the great thing about being here in America. But you also have to look at this, you know, it's good to have rights, but the problem with having rights, you can have so many rights, you don't have no rights at all. So, you know, is it worth it to say, man, your rights don't violate my rights? My rights say I don't have to have a mask on, but in the same token, you have someone say, well, my rights say I want to wear a mask and I want to protect myself, even though you don't want to protect yourself. So it's like a double-edged sword, really. So, you know, I hate to be in a situation like that because who makes the call? Okay, some people might not have it. Some people might have it. So, I mean, do you take that chance and say, okay, well, come on in, you ain't got to wear no mask, and maybe one out of that 4 might contract that, you know what I mean, from somebody, because, you know, you have a lot of carriers now, and it's just a double-edged sword, and I hate to tell people about rights because that's the problem with rights. You can have too many rights when you have none at all. So I'll put that question to you, Mr. GM, down in South Carolina. How you feel about that?
I think we should have started with the mask early on, because I think we was told not to wear masks. It doesn't matter. I think if they would have had that a little better situated, that would have been in better shape as of now.
Mm-hmm. Robert?
Well, I have to agree with that, that there are some opportunities that we missed early on that we could have flattened this curve and we'd be in a better shape right now. I really feel for the frontline workers right now. People like
Yes.
Elliot store and other places where you almost have to deputize now some grandma to fight up against somebody who comes in the store. You have a Walmart greeter, some lady who's 65 years old, just trying to make a couple of bucks, you know, to stretch out her income. And some guy comes up there some burly guy comes up to the door and wants to get in without a mask. Is that fair to her? Is that is that her job? That is a terrible position to put somebody in.
It
I mean,
is.
I wouldn't want to be in retail right now. Let's put it that way. I mean, I'm a pretty tough guy. I can hold my own, but I don't want to go to work to fight every day. So I think until we have some type of, and I'm not a proponent of legislating everything, but the problem is it's just like the seatbelt. People would not wear the seatbelt if it were not the law. And some people say, well, it's my life. Well, it's actually not, because if you go out here without a seatbelt on, you go through the windshield and you're disabled and you don't have insurance, guess who's going to pay for it? All of us.
That's
So
right.
these kind of decisions have to come from the top. And I think that's why I think it's unfair to put these Walmart workers and teenagers selling coffee at the Starbucks in these very difficult positions. And I don't have an answer for them unless we make it some type of national policy, which seems to have a lot of pushback if we went that route.
Well, you know, the purpose of Inside the MFL, because we get inside what's going on with the MFL, and we're kind of changed subjects right now. And let's go inside the MFL, gentlemen. We do have a new GM in Oklahoma. We are delighted to say we are interviewing several other GMs. Some of them we did not, you know, pass the requirements that we needed from there, because we're doing the background check on people. We're gonna do that on y'all, gentlemen. Y'all don't know we're doing it, but we're gonna do it because we want everybody to be who they say they are, you know. Also, with a laboratory change, we want to give people an opportunity to bring special, you know, players from the field to the front office. And I know Elliot mad about that because he sent us this tape and I show him, and I said, good, I thought I was getting ready to sign him, you know, Robert. But he told me, you know, I said, oh yeah, I'm gonna sign this guy. I wonder if he wanted to come to DC. But see that Mr. C, look, South Carolina laughed. The Outlaws said, no, get him down here. But if you saw his tape, man, this guy right here, man, I don't know why he didn't get a shot in the NFL. But then again, that's what I tell people. It's not that you're not good enough to play in the NFL. It's not enough room. And that's why the MFL, the laboratory change, is so important, because it gives guys that was overlooked an opportunity to play. And no doubt about it. And I'll tell you, gentlemen, we might have about 3,000 guys registered so far. Now, we will have to go do and tell you what areas they are. That's not a big deal, because we're doing open tryouts. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. But guys are registering left and right. They had an opportunity to see this, and they realize that a fact that the MFL is here. I had 3 guys that called me and tell me, gentlemen, is this new? You know, and I said, no, it's new to you, but it's not new. And they said, well, wow, I never heard this. I can't believe I never heard of this. I tell people all the time, thank God for social media, gentlemen, because it gives us an opportunity for people to see us all over the country and even outside of the country. So to say that we're going to have the open tryouts, and we're not going to go out there until I know that it's safe. The calls come here. I talk to my board all the time, and we sit and talk, because we get it from down in the teams down in the South. They say, hey, we're opening up, Mr. Myles. The MFL all go together. You know, a house divided cannot stand. So we're not going to do that. Up here is hard on that. We have a mayor here in Washington, D.C. Mayor Bowser doing a great job. She said, we taking our time. Now Maryland and Virginia, as you know, Robert, they like sitting back and say, oh, we got to take a look at this, because they're not going to let the kids go to school. Because the things that you guys said earlier that should have been in place a long time ago, that's not in place. Because people did not, some people, I'm not going to say everybody, did not take this serious as they should have taken it, as Robert was saying earlier. So we have to, my thing is protect our loved ones and family members. I'm concerned about your families and your loved ones and MFL Nation, our coaches, our board members, because, we would all like to play. And we were talking about a subject about our counterparts going. I'm just afraid for it, and I'm concerned about these individuals, not because they're different leagues. I'm concerned about baseball. I'm concerned about basketball. I'm concerned about football, even soccer. It's impossible that you can pull this off. I want to just get a little feedback from y'all very shortly. Me personally, I think it's dangerous. I don't think they should do it. It's not like they need the money, gentlemen. We know the owners because they want their TV money. I don't think it's worth no one life. I'll go with you, Mr. GM in South Carolina.
Well, I'm a little different. I can't say a whole lot about it, because at the school, if they say we got to go, I got to go.
Right.
My job.
Okay.
How I really feel, and my wife on here, but football is football to me, and I probably a little bit different from everybody else, because I might get my other arm to play again. So I think if we can do it safely, I believe I watched the basketball game, not to jump the subject, on TV, and those guys played for $1 million and made it all the way through. I would love to play for another $1 million. So
there might be that one person gets sick and they say, hey, I shouldn't have done it.
But yeah, but I think it should be done in a safe environment. If they can make sense of that. If they can make sense of that.
Right. But what's safe? Elliot?
That's a big question. I mean, I've actually thought about a few different things. I mean, if you think about
let's hear it.
It's
we don't mind giving it to them, because we're worried about the guys going to play. It's not about the MFL or NFL. Okay. If it's some idea that they might not have thought of it, maybe you should say something. Maybe somebody here.
About to change the world.
Yeah.
The football world. I mean, if you think about what we're doing in society, I mean, South Carolina's got it going on. I don't know about in Virginia and all that, but up here in Michigan, I mean, it's masks, wear masks, wear masks, wear masks. If that's what's going to stop the spread
Down
of
here
it,
too.
right. If that's what's going to stop the spread of it, then how do we do that in sports? Football, and everybody, you got a face mask. Why don't we put? And a lot of the guys wear the visors on the eyes.
Right.
What's wrong with the visor behind the face mask down low? That's going to stop a lot of the spread out there. Come off the field, clean it off on the inside, get ready for your next go. That was kind of my thought on football. I mean, there's a lot of other sports, obviously. I've heard some talk with the high school districts around here, possibly flipping spring and fall sports, being that this thing's going to ramp back up come fall. And so they were thinking about playing the spring sports in the fall because they're a lot less contact, and then putting the fall sports in the spring because they are more contact, thinking that might help things out. But yeah, my thought was a little bit more direct. Somehow wearing something that's not going to hinder your performance, but will also protect everybody. Doing that in basketball would be, the hardest part. Baseball, not too close to guys. So it just depends on the sport. But I mean, I'm thinking for football, there's definitely a way to figure this thing out and keep all the guys safe.
Well, let's get to Robert. Let's get to our guru, our money man. We put everything on Robert.
You're too kind. When I look at this though, I think that we have to. It's easy for me to sit here and say, pass judgment on people who want football to open back up, or somebody who wants to do this or that, or tell somebody not to do this or that, because my job does not require me to leave this desk. I can sit here and be as judgmental as I want to. I can say, man, don't open up the football. These guys, everybody wants to live. But that wouldn't be fair of me. It wouldn't be fair to the people I'm judging. So somehow we have to be able to spread this pain a little more evenly. We can't look at one industry and pass judgment on them if their entire livelihood depends on them being out there on the field or fighting fires or locking up bad guys. If that's how they eat, if that's how they feed their family, pass on legacies, who am I sitting here behind a comfortable desk saying that they shouldn't do it? I keep putting the onus back on the owners, the people who have the money, the means, that can, like Elliot was saying, if there's a way you can test everybody before the game and make sure only people who've been tested can play, or maybe put some type of visor in there and go out there. And I'm not saying go out here and be careless and go home with the virus and start infecting people in the community. But I do believe that there's a happy medium so that people who are participating in these, what we might call risky activities, if we can just minimize the risk. That's where we have to spend some money, get government involved, get healthcare people involved, bring all the people to the table and say, look, we understand down in South Carolina where it's 150 degrees right now, but you guys ready to go out here? You guys ready to go out here and play some ball? I can tell he's ready to go right now.
Yeah.
In spite of how hot it is. But my point is, Miles and everybody, is that we have to be a little less myopic, a little less tribal about our own areas. If it doesn't affect us, then we're going to be all judgmental, or we got to pass, or if it's more risky, then we have to pass judgment on the folks who are not at risk. That's where we have to come together as a community and talk about, I may have to take some of the pain that the people who are out there on the field taking. Do I have to contribute to the test? Do I have to do something to make sure this pain spreads around so that the players, the GMs, the people and the trainers, they're not carrying this burden totally by themselves. And that's what I like about some of the things we're seeing coming out of corporate America, like universal basic income. Maybe we could take that model and start spreading around to things like sports. Sure, we tell you guys to take the summer off, but what about the folks that depend on that to eat? You got to do something. They still got to eat whether they're playing football or not. Yeah. So we got to be thinkers. We got to get more progressive in our thinking. And I know that's a long-term strategy, but we don't have a long time to think about it. Fall is coming. Football season is here. We got to think right now.
Well, my view on that, gentlemen, is, you take a chance when you go to sleep at night. And what I mean by that, gentlemen, is only by the grace of the Lord you wake up. A lot of people go to sleep at night and don't wake up, as y'all know. You might not know somebody directly, but that happens, And I always say, we take chances when we walk down the street. We don't know what fool might jump the curb or something with a car. A brick can fall off the building, and I might be a little stretching a little more, but that's the realization of it. Things happen. Even it's hard to be perfect in an imperfect world, gentlemen. And as you know, although we take all the safe precautions we can, it's still not enough. You're right. My opinion is my opinion, and everybody has their own opinion. That's the great thing about it. As they say, a mind's a terrible thing to waste. I know people getting, it's America's pastime, sports. We rely on that. It feeds a lot of people in one way or another, be it from selling tickets, the concession, parking cars, cleaning up, trainers, doctors. I mean, so many dynamics go with that. But I'm just a little, we're going to get fingers pointed at you regardless of what you do. No matter what decision we make or somebody else make, somebody going to point their fingers. Well, I told them, I know, even when it's right, you got people, man, we shouldn't have listened. We should have went on and did this. We should have went on and played. But what about the couple of people that something do happen to, or do catch this virus, or that's one people too many, and I know saying that, as the old statement used to say, people used to say, you can't fight a war and you not have no casualties in the war. That's impossible, unless you throwing bad words at them. Other than that, it's just a bad time for us right now. Hopefully we're going to get through this like we got through all the other things that happen in this world. I'm just, I'm a little concerned. I can't control everything. I have somewhat control what the MFL do. I'm happy. I'm satisfied with my decision. Am I right? No. Who knows? Am I wrong? Who knows? It's the decision that I made, and even though my GMs and stuff might say, Mr. Myles, but the ultimate decision fall with the MFL, and I just rather be safe than sorry. If they can do it, I'm happy for them. I just don't want to hear that one or that 3 or 4 people out of it, because their family members don't care about that. They're gonna say it was their fault. They told us we could go. You know what I mean? Everybody started to point the finger, gentlemen. So that's my concern. And my concern is my concern. But having you guys are experts in your own field and stuff. That's my concern when it comes to the MFL. Now, like I said, am I right? No, but I made the call. I'm just want to make sure that we prepare ourselves for when this spike and goes down. Because when it goes down, gentlemen, I have an opportunity to, we can get started. But it gives the MFL a great opportunity to really get ready. And Pat talking about me. And Robert, as you know, man, you guys, you new GMs, my hat's off to you. It's a great thing to get our GMs all squared away. As you know, Robert, we don't have to run and scramble at the last minute interviewing people, and people
right.
who might look good on paper might not be the people that you thought they was and could do the job, but with these GMs, it gives y'all a sense of, wow, I can do this, I can't do this. I'm not rushed. You know what I mean, gentlemen? You're not rushed to do anything. You know what I mean? You got time to do things, and I'll take that anything. Go ahead, Mr. GM in South Carolina.
Yes, I mean, it gives you a whole lot of time actually to build a lot of things, get to interview coaches, get your staff together and talk to a couple venues and try to get sponsorship and get things in place, ticket sales, how you going to plan to do that, and who's going to do what. So it's real helpful for me to have that time ahead where we can get everything together.
And especially you new GMs are doing a great job, believe me, and don't think we take it lightly, because we want to commend y'all for the great job that you're doing. And believe us, like I say, you guys know you can call the office anytime we here. We not in the studio. Matter of fact, we still not in our office. They told us. I wonder if we still got to pay, Robert. You know, that's. But
you got a bill when you go back.
We can't go to the radio station. I'd send y'all pictures. You see me sending pictures. Nobody said we're not even sitting at the daggone studio. But Elliot, what do you feel about that? What we were just saying?
I mean, exactly what he said down there in South Carolina. I mean, it gives us a ton of time. There's a bunch of stuff we got to do. I mean, here in Michigan, it's gonna be the first time the MFL has had a franchise out here. So you're building something from the ground up, and to do that in the short few months that I had for the 2020 season would have been quite difficult, and we may have ended up just waiting for the season 21 anyways. But now that the entire season, the entire organization gets to do the same thing, it's just going to make it that much stronger as a whole.
Robert?
I think that we have to use this time as well. I remember back in 2008 when we had the real estate crunch, and things just the bottom just fell out of the real estate market. And many of the real estate agents were devastated. They were really out of a job because nobody was buying houses and people upside. It was a really bad time. But what happened, a lot of those agents, they repositioned themselves and went into different types of income, created different types of income, the ways to better themselves and busy themselves. And so I don't know exactly what that would look like in football, but I know for a fact that a lot of these players have talents. They have skills that can somehow be leveraged into some other type of related industry, maybe consulting, doing online training, workout, mentoring children, helping kids. But I think this time has to be used productively. Planning, yes, but also look at, can we leverage some of those skills that we have into income? And I think the answer is yes, but it's just a matter of what does that look like. But it's a good time to be thinking about it, because like you say, we don't know what the end of this is. We really don't. We think maybe next year, but the last time I looked, we had the highest number that we've had yet. So we got to start thinking a little differently. Remember, we thought that back in end of February, early March, we said, hey, man, by June, man, everybody will be back to work. Schools will be open. We'll be in the malls, in the beaches. We're seeing our highest days right now. So let's not wait until January and then find out we got another 6 months. Let's start looking at some skills, transferring of some skills right now for the eventuality that this may go longer. Because I've heard many economists said we can't be looking at 3-month plans anymore. We have to start looking at 2-year plans. And that's kind of scary when you think about it, that some people are actually feeling like this could be, if not the disease itself, the impact and repercussions could be a year or two. And so that means we got to start thinking a little differently, thinking a little longer term than the next 3 months.
Because the impact is really hard on people in general, because a lot of people can't work, you can't go to job. A lot of businesses closed down because of it. Money that was not diverted to where it really was supposed to go. People got money that shouldn't have got money, and they looked at some of them big corporations and say, hey, what do you send us the money for? So, like I say, it's hard to be perfect in an imperfect world. But right now, gentlemen, I want you to introduce yourselves and tell them how they can get in contact with you. We'll go with you first, Elliot.
Yeah, Elliot Allen. I'm up here in mid-Michigan, you can call it. contact me by phone, 989-313-5330. Email is Elliot Allen, right there, 91@gmail.com. And then you can hit me up on the Facebook page. That's probably the best way to do it. Kind of keep everything all organized. The Michigan Steelers Facebook page is where I like to keep all the messages and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And we go to our GM down in South Carolina.
You can give me a call at 803-250-9392. You can also hit me up, Outlaws, South Carolina Outlaws on Facebook. Email me at lamarray6@gmail.com.
Okay, and we definitely have to give our money guru, our co-host of the show, and Mr. Robert Gatewood.
Well, once again, I want to thank Myles for the opportunity to allow me to impart some financial and business information and knowledge and thought, because we know that sports, like many of the things we do, is the means to an end, not the end itself. Of course, we go out here and play sports and have fun and raise money, but the sports itself is actually a way to build economic foundation, make some money, put our kids in schools we want to put them in, have a life of the envy of all. So I'm happy to be able to do that on every Wednesday here on the MFL. Also, on Fridays, I have my radio show, Marketing Pulpit. You can find out more information at marketingpulpit.com, where we talk about business development and different ways to grow a business. And we've been doing that for 10 years. And Myles has been on the show a few times, and we talk about different ways and different strategies and the latest tools of marketing, social media, branding, digital advertising. And so we've been doing that for 10 years now, and glad I'm able to share this information every Wednesday also here on the MFL radio show.
And also he has his own TV podcast show that he didn't mention. I had the pleasure of being on it. Robert, you forgot to tell him about that?
Yeah, that's the show comes on every Friday at 10 o'clock. And we're broadcasting on Facebook Live, on Twitter Live, YouTube Live, Periscope TV, and we've gotten a very big following recently. And I think it's all this quickly. It's how you can pivot. We've been doing our show at Radio One. It's a broadband regular broadcast network. But like with Myles, when the pandemic struck, they pretty much ran us out of there. So look, you can't come back in here until we get this pandemic under control. Of course, I thought that was going to be a 2 or 3 month hiatus. Well, heck, now we've been out of there since March. We'll be going into August now. There's no end in sight. So what we did, we pivoted. It's what the advice I'm giving to other people. Don't spend one day crying over the job that you got fired from or laid off from, or the opportunity that you missed. Take that energy and put it into the next thing you're going to be doing. And that's what Myles and I are living that example by. We repivoted, changed our platform, then one day of grass grow under our feet. And I give that advice to everybody. Think about what can you do next. And it's going to be harder for some industries than others. I understand that. Everybody can't turn on a dime, but you can at least start trying today. You don't have to wait another week or another year. You can start today. What can I do differently in the likelihood that this pandemic might be here longer than we anticipate?
Absolutely. And we do our show at DC Radio, the Office of Cable and Television and Movies. We was there for 2 years, and this happened. They ran us out. Nobody, I send the pictures out of the studio. It was empty. We can't.
Mighty empty.
Mighty empty. But it's Robert say we pivot, and we say, okay, we're gonna put this thing up and go live. So we have not lost a beat. Of course, the show still come on Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock inside the MFL, our radio show. But we also we went live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. I mean, we went live with our show inside the MFL. And you can contact us. Our website is mflishere.com. Like I say, we're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. You can see our show live. So we did not sit back and worry about, what we going to do. We improvise, we adapt, we adjust. And we want people to understand that don't just sit there and say, you know, what am I do? As you know, Elliot, you got your own business as well. So you didn't worry, but you didn't say, oh man, what I'm gonna do? You put the pedal to the metal, and y'all, you know, start doing what you had to do to get your business keep it going. And I think one time I talked to you, you say, man, so much business coming in, I don't know what to do, Mr. Bob. I said, yeah, and you know, it happens. That's the way it is. But when people see you shut down, they shut down. So my advice is to keep pushing. Don't stop. You know, continue doing what you're doing. And the MFL is here. We ain't going nowhere. As you know, we've been in 13 years and they just finding out about us. So now, you know, we're not going nowhere. And we got some great GMs and we will continue to bring them on. All the new GMs. So we want people to see what these GMs are, because we get a lot of calls from guys, you know, gentlemen, that I have to look at their area code and say, you know, where's this calling from? And they want to know where the teams are. And I had a lot of people say, you know, the website is very informative, that, you know, answer all the questions that we have, you know. So that's a good thing. But believe me, gentlemen, when we do go, believe me, not only are we going to be ready, but you're going to have so many guys come in there for the combine that you know, it's going to be hard for you to just, you know, you're going to really have to take a couple of deep look at these guys. That's why it's so important that we're going to sign 60 players, but we're going to suit 40. And the reason we want to bring that extra 20 in, gentlemen, because you never know what happened with people, because we play during the summer. Somebody might be getting married. It could be the best man. A family picnic, you know, you better go. Y'all know about them family picnics. They ain't staying here 20 years. I got a football game. No, they don't want to hear that. So we want to, I always say it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it, gentlemen. So when you have these players, they can step right in, and it keeps it competitive in the camp. We don't want nobody to get complacent. Or I'm starting to, you know, I'm not going to do this or do that. We don't have to deal with that. If a guy get a nick and the trainer say he can't go, he need another week, then, you know, I expect the GM to give him another week. We don't need to play guys that nicked up. Somebody might see him and he out there and hurt, then he become more of a liability than an access to you. So like I say, I'm glad for the time we had, and you guys put it so eloquent. It gives you time. And I know I see the smile come on the GM face. It gave you time, because trying to put this thing together fast doesn't work. So when you got the time you have to do it and do it right, gentlemen, you're not rushed. Wait till you're going to have your problem when the combine comes, because you're going to see so many good players. You sign one guy, the next combine, you're going to see a guy even better. So you better, and the great thing about that's why we're going to bring an extra 20 guys to camp. You know what I mean? So, gentlemen, I want to say to you guys, thank you for coming on. I want you guys to stay safe, and I look forward to talking to you guys again and find out what's going on with you guys and keep us abreast of what's going on, gentlemen. Thank you for being on. And this has been another edition of Inside the MFL. I'm your host, Richard Myles. See you guys Friday. Thank you.